You know, this video that you're about to view is a video that I really didn't have any intentions on producing this video. I told y'all that I was going to do a weekend marathon, but this was not one of the videos that I had slated to produce. But due to people sending me this video that I'm about to talk about, I was left with no other alternative but to produce this masterpiece. Now, the video in question, some of you may have seen it. I had a lot of people tweet it to me, a couple of people emailed it to me. And it's this sister, I can't really recall her name off the top of my head, but you may have seen the video. I will put her name in the description box. It's a video that's damn near going viral. And this sister is talking about what took place there in St. Louis. And it's along the same lines as that video that was produced after the pool party there in McKinney, Texas, I believe it was, where the officer ran up on those teenagers, and we all remember the scene, him taking the 15-year-old girl and putting his knee in her back. And it was a black female who, after that incident, produced a video just like this sister here in St. Louis. And both of these women were talking about the illogical behavior of these brothers, these black boys who don't respect authority, they don't respect police officers, they engage in I'm paraphrasing it, they didn't say it like this, but basically they're questioning the logic and reason of these black boys. And what I find to be comical about these type videos, whenever you have one of these incidences take place, as fortunate as they are, what you always going to have is you're going to have the Afro-American female sitting back producing these videos that go viral because everybody likes what she's saying. But what they don't address in their videos, what that sister did not address in that McKinney, Texas video, and what this sister did not address here in this St. Louis video, is the fact that that behavior upon which they speak, the illogical, no respect for authority type behavior that they see out of these black boys, that behavior did not just spring up like a weed. It has an origin. But what you will find is that the black female, for the most part, never references the origin. That is about as wise as you going to a doctor and he writes you some medication without examining you. Then you would have to logically ask him, the doctor, what are you giving me medication for? You haven't examined me. You haven't talked to me about what's ailing me. You're just going to give me this medication. You haven't, you don't know if it's going to deal with the source of my problem. You don't know if it's going to, take away some of the symptoms of my problem until we get to the major issue that we have to confront. You don't know anything. He just writes you, write it out for you, hand it to you. And that's what these videos are. These videos deal with the symptoms. They don't deal with the source. That sister there in Texas, her video, everybody liked it. It went viral. I believe that sister's video got 2 million views in a day. That sister in Texas wound up, I remember watching Getting Dressed in the Morning. I watched Fox and Friends. And I'm sitting there and they interviewed this sister on Fox News. This sister who made this video in Texas. Now, this sister in St. Louis, I can't recall her name. Y'all know who I'm talking about because everybody's seen it. Everybody's talking about it. It's being shared all over the internet. And this sister is coming down on this black male who was shot by the police. And again, she deals with the symptoms, but she does not deal with the source. And then what you'll find is these bojangling, buck dancing black Negroes who are always talking about back to Africa, red, black, and green, these Negroes will not say anything to these sisters. And I already told y'all that. I already told you black men are cowards. They don't have the nuts to call these sisters to task. Now, if a brother made this video that this sister made in St. Louis, if a black male made that very same video saying the very same thing, you would have endless YouTube videos by black men trying to fuss with him. If a black male made that video that that sister made in McKinney, Texas, saying the exact same thing that that sister said in that video, you would have endless YouTube videos of black men, again, trying to fuss with him, calling him a coon, a black buffoon, and a sellout. But because they're black females who said this, they suddenly get a pass, and these brothers pretend like it don't exist, even though these two videos have gone viral. So if you're anywhere on the internet, you've heard about this video, you've seen it, maybe you haven't watched it completely, but you know about the video. You just don't have anything to say about it because who produced them? And I told y'all this. These sisters cannot reference the source of the problem. They will always talk about the symptoms. The symptoms of these effeminate, illogical black men. And well, we're talking about black boys now, but if they are allowed to continue to, grow or evolve, they're going to evolve into what we see, these adult, effeminate, illogical, catty, backbiting, gossiping black men. And these sisters can't understand where this comes from. So since they don't understand, I'm going to take the time to remind you. And this is something that you won't reference in your video. Because again, that behavior has a source. And you sisters always seem to forget. And I've told y'all this in many of my videos. I've told y'all time after time after time, when you deal with these Negroes who are always talking about the black community and issues in the black community, they will always leapfrog from 2015 back to slavery. They will always leapfrog 2015 and go back to Jim Crow. It's easier to blame Jim Crow and slavery for the conditions that you see in the black community instead of putting that blame where it belongs, and that's on decisions that black women have made. And I've referenced this to y'all. It's historic. You can't deny it. All you have to do is study your history. You can't reference slavery and blame slavery for 78% of black babies being born out of wedlock. When you go back and look, you will see that our mothers and our fathers and their mothers and fathers' generations did not have those numbers. I told y'all this. And logic would tell you that if it's because of slavery, then we would see these numbers manifested in the generations who were closer to the emancipated slaves. It would not leapfrog generations and show up now. I told y'all this. This is really, again, we on the shallow end of the pool. We really are. I can't take y'all to the deep end. Y'all can't handle that. So we still on the shallow end with this. But you Negroes still don't get it. Just because y'all want to keep referencing slavery and you want to keep referencing, Jim Crow as if that's the origin of what we see in the black community, and it's not. The origin of what we see in 2015 with these illogical boys who would point a weapon at a police officer, not understanding the deadly ramifications of such an act. And if these boys are allowed to grow, they will mature into these illogical, effeminate black adult males that we see, i.e. right here on YouTube. But all of that behavior has a source. And when you look at the source, you have to reference decisions that black women made, not only with siding with white liberal policies. And I've told y'all this. This is historically documented. All you have to do is do your own research. When the white feminists came to the black female and told her, listen, you don't need no man. You can play both roles. You can be both the mother and the father to your sons. Black women embraced that. Black women believed that. So off they ran following white feminists, believing that they can rear young boys into manhood. And we can clearly see the fruits of their labor. You haven't done it. Now, if you want to reference illogical black boys, which you should, If you want to reference their behavior and their decisions that they make, their deadly decisions that they make, which you should, but then you should also reference the source. And when you reference the source, you're going to be staring in the mirror at yourself. I'm talking about this black female now. And that's what these videos don't do. Oh, they're good at pointing out the problem. They're good at dealing with the symptoms, but they never go to the source. And the source is the fact that black females sided with white liberal welfare policies that remove black men from the home. At the advent of the welfare state, white liberal welfare policies destroyed the black family. Nobody can deny this. All you have to do is do your research. When black women sided with white feminists and she went off and she agreed with white feminists, yes, I can play both roles. I can be both the mother and the father to my young boys. We see the fruits of your labor. The chickens have come home to roost. You have not done it. You did not do it. So therefore, when we look at these boys, that behavior has an origin. Just like these adult males. When you look at adult men and see the fact that they were reared by single mothers, it has an origin. And what I really find to be comical about you Negroes, and again, it's really funny, and people often ask me, why are you so hard on the black church? And this is the reason why I really have a problem, amongst many reasons, with that black pastor. Because and I have to reference what y'all say y'all believe. I can't really deal with anything else. I have to use as a point of reference what you say you believe. You said you're a Christian. I didn't say that. You said that. So now if you're running around here calling yourself a Christian and you love the Lord, you love the Bible tells you that you should be submissive to your own husband. You should submit to him. It didn't say if he makes more money than you, if he's able to buy you a house, if he's able to buy you a car. No, your Bible says that as long as he loves you like your Christ loves the church, you have to submit to him. He's the head. This is what your Bible says. I didn't say that. So now you got bojangling, buck dancing black pastors who go off to these theological cemeteries. So you know they know this because that's what they study. But yet and still they won't come back to their churches and preach this to their female members and tell their members, listen, if you're going to marry that dude, you have to submit to him as long as he loves you. Don't matter if he makes more money than you. Don't matter if he buys you a house, a car, a diamond ring. It don't matter. If you marry him, according to our Bible, you have to submit to him because he's the head of the household. Now, the white feminist told this sister, no, he ain't the head. You ain't got to listen to him. So you don't pay no attention to him, even though the Bible that you say you believe in tells you that you should. You have to. If you don't want to submit to him, don't marry him. But see, you don't pay no attention to that because you don't want to pay attention to authority. So now you in the marriage with the guy, and your Bible that you tuck under your arm every Sunday tells you that as long as he loves you with authentic love, no matter what kind of money he makes, no matter what he has materially, as long as he loves you as your Christ loved that church, you have to submit to him. That's the origin. That is the order that your Bible set up. I didn't set that up. Your Bible set that up that y'all say y'all believe. But now you don't pay no attention to that order, sister, because the white feminists had told you ain't got to listen to this dude. So now you don't pay attention to the authority. And see, you find it comical now that your son don't pay attention to authority. You see where I'm going with this? Because it has an origin. And you black women don't want to deal with that origin. You have negated to deal with the divine order that you say you believe in. Now, if you don't want to fall in line with that order, don't get married to this dude. Now, if he don't love you, he's cheating on you, of course you ain't got to submit to him. That's common sense. But as long as that brother is faithful, as long as that brother loves you, whether he can buy you a car for Christmas, whether he can buy you a house, none of that matters. As long as he loves you, that was the criteria. Study your Bible. You ain't got to take my words on nothing. All you have to do is read what you say you believe. That's the reason why I reference it. Because you said you believe this. I didn't. 80% of you Negroes say y'all Christians. I ain't say that shit. Y'all said that. And since your Bible tells you that if he loves you with authentic love, you have to be submissive to him because he's the head. You ain't having it. You ain't have no part of that. I ain't submitting to that nigga. I make more money than him. I ain't submitting to that nigga. I got a college degree and he ain't even graduated from high school. And you knew this before you married him. Now your pastor ain't coming and telling you that because obviously he didn't counsel you before you married the guy, because these pastors don't do their job. He should have counseled y'all. He should have found out where y'all were spiritually if he gave a fuck about y'all. But as I told you, he don't. So he didn't counsel you. He don't know if y'all compatible or nothing. He ain't done none of that. He just stood up and took the money that you paid him to marry your stupid ass. Now you in a marriage with this dude. This dude legitimately cares and loves you, but you don't want to submit to him because you make more money than him. He don't have a college degree. He's just not on your level. Now he's not on your level. After you done had kids with him, after you done married him, you don't want to submit to him. So now eventually the relationship is dissolved. Now you here playing the father and the mother to your son. Now you want your son to submit to authority. You want your son to respect authority, even though you don't. You see where I'm going with this when I told you Negroes that it has an origin? You black women can't hide from this. Your chickens have come home to roost. Y'all have to accept this shit. And these black men ain't gonna tell y'all this. These black men don't have the balls to tell these sisters, hey, so listen, sister. What we see in the black community with these young boys, these irrational, effeminate, illogical black boys who grow eventually into irrational, effeminate black men that you see, i.e. right here on YouTube. It has a source. It has an origin. And if you're going to deal with that, if you're going to talk about that, then you got to talk about the source. If you're not going to address the source, you're doing this service to the subject. And that's what you sisters don't want to do. That's what that sister didn't do in Texas. And that's not what this sister did right here in this video in St. Louis. Oh, she dealt with the symptoms. They can deal with the symptoms all day, every day. If I got a toothache, yeah, I'm going to want the dentist to give me something to help me deal with that pain until he can snatch that tooth out. But I don't want him to continually give me something that's going to deal with the symptom. Listen, man, we got to eventually get in here and get this tooth out or do this root canal or whatever the problem is. We got to get to the source. Yeah, I know I can deal with the symptoms with this medication that you gave me. That helps for the time being. But eventually we got to go to the source and we got to deal with that source. And that's what these sisters don't want to do. They spend all day, every day making these videos after every time something like this happens. And they deal with the symptoms. They deal with all these brothers are illogical. Yes, they are. All these brothers are effeminate. Yes, they are. All these brothers can't connect dots. They don't say that. I'm saying it. Yes, they are. All these brothers can't color within the line. Again, they don't say that. I'm saying it. Yes, they are. But all of that behavior has a source, sister. It has a source in decisions that you made years ago. And now your chickens have come home to roost. And what we see in Black America is the direct result of decisions that y'all have made, and y'all don't want to accept this. Y'all pretending like this shit just sprung up like weeds, and that is not the case. I know y'all don't like this, but you can't deconstruct it. At the end of the day,